Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're diving into AI music.
Really interesting stuff.
Yeah, you've given us a fascinating stack of articles.
Lyrics, too.
Yeah, lyrics, and even some audio all about
The Océanne Chamberland franchise.
the Océanne Chamberland franchise.
Yeah. And right away, the intriguing part is that Océanne Chamberland
Yeah.
is presented as like a real singer-songwriter from Quebec, even though she's entirely AI generated.
Exactly. We've got her image.
Oh, wow.
Well, at least the image that the AI created right here in this analytics report.
Interesting.
And the lyrics we have dive deep into personal and emotional experiences.
Yeah, like a confessional diary almost.
So how does this all work?
Well, the mind behind all of this is Pierre Coté.
Okay.
And he's an artist exploring the boundaries of AI and music, using the persona of Océanne Chamberland as his creative vehicle.
So let's talk about Pierre Coté for a sec.
Sure.
What do we know about him and his vision for this project?
Well, he's got this company called RTA Intelligence, which is built on this idea of radical transparency.
Okay.
And that seems to be at the core of everything they do.
Interesting.
He's very upfront about Océanne Chamberlain being entirely AI generated, not trying to trick anyone.
Right.
In fact, he sees this as a new form of artistic expression, maybe even the future of music.
That's a pretty bold statement, but before we get too deep into that,
Sure.
I'm really curious to hear what this music actually sounds like.
I think we all are.
We have a clip of one of Océanne's songs.
Okay.
Je m'en fous toi.
Let's hear it.
Let's give it a listen.
All right.
Wow.
Something else.
That was something else.
Yeah,
You can definitely hear the emotion in her voice.
definitely.
What would you say the genre is?
Dream pop, maybe? With some indie rock influences?
Yeah.
And those ethereal vocals almost haunting?
Yeah. And it's all in French, which adds another layer of
Right.
a complexity to the whole thing.
Yeah.
What about the lyrics? What are the main themes she's exploring in this song?
This particular song delves into themes of faith, love, and the idea of physical existence.
Wow.
It's pretty deep stuff.
It is.
Yeah.
And looking at the lyrics from her whole album, La Gloire de Maguire,
Right.
there are some recurring motifs.
Okay, like what?
Winter,
Okay.
the landscapes of Quebec, this yearning for something more, something spiritual.
Almost feels like the AI is tapping into a very specific cultural and geographic context.
Absolutely. But here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
If Coté created the AI
Right.
and the AI created the music, who is the artist here?
That is the question, isn't it?
We have some quotes from Jean Surette,
Okay.
the executive director of Music New Brunswick. And he actually says the artistic value of this music is in a gray area.
That's a good point.
Is it art or is it a product?
Yeah.
And who gets to claim the title of creator?
Right. It really blurs the lines, doesn't it?
It always.
Yeah. And that blurring extends beyond the creative process itself. It raises questions about ownership and royalties, too.
Right.
Like, if Océanne Chamberlain becomes a huge success,
Right.
who profits from that?
Yeah.
Does that money go to Coté, to his company? Or could the AI even be considered an owner?
Right.
We're in uncharted territory here, legally speaking.
It's like we need a whole new legal framework to deal with AI art.
Yeah, it's a whole other...
And speaking of uncharted territory, this whole thing ties into a much bigger discussion about
Okay.
Canadian content and how AI could impact it.
Right.
You know, the CRTC, that's Canada's broadcast regulator,
Right.
they've been struggling for years with how to define and regulate Canadian content,
Sure.
especially when it comes to quotas for things like music on the radio.
The CanCon quotas.
Yeah, it's been a constant challenge to ensure enough Canadian music is represented in the media,
Absolutely.
and now AI throws a whole new wrench into the system.
Definitely complicates things.
Exactly. Some people argue that AI could actually be a solution to this problem.
Oh, interesting.
Imagine if AI could help create more Canadian music, especially in French.
Okay. Yeah.
It could potentially help meet those quotas in a whole new way.
That's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
But it also raises questions about what it really means to be a Canadian artist. Can an AI truly capture the nuances of Canadian culture and identity?
Yeah.
Or is there something inherently human about that creative process?
That's a deep question.
It is.
Okay, this next bit is pretty wild.
Okay, what?
There's a story here about a community radio station in New Brunswick, CKRO-FM.
Okay.
They accidentally played Je m'en fous toi, thinking it was a regular submission from a local artist.
So they didn't even realize it was AI generated.
Nope. And we have a quote from Michel Jacob,
Okay.
the director of the station. He said they were totally surprised when they found out.
Wow.
CKRO-FM prides itself on supporting local musicians,
Right.
so they wouldn't have played it if they knew.
So this accidental playing of an AI song on a tiny radio station has sparked a national debate about AI in the music industry.
It's kind of amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, that is pretty wild.
It really underscores the need for transparency.
Yeah,
Listeners and broadcasters need to know what they're dealing with.
for sure.
But this isn't just a Canadian issue either. Artists all over the world are starting to speak out about this.
Really?
Big names like Billie Eilish, Metro Boomin, even the Canadian band Arkells
Oh, wow.
have expressed concerns about AI potentially devaluing the work of human artists.
It's a valid concern.
Yeah.
If AI can create music that's indistinguishable from human-made music. And honestly, Océanne Chamberland is a pretty convincing example. Then what does that mean for human musicians?
Right.
Do they become obsolete?
Well, Cote argues that AI isn't here to replace human artists.
Yeah.
He sees it as a tool just like any other instrument
Okay.
that can enhance the creative process.
I see his point, but I'm not sure it's that simple.
Right?
If the AI is composing the melodies, writing the lyrics, even arranging the music,
Right.
what's left for the human artist? Is it really just a tool at that point, or is it something much more powerful?
That's the heart of the debate, isn't it?
It really is a philosophical question,
Yeah.
almost as much as a technological one.
Yeah.
And it's a debate that's only going to get more intense as AI continues to evolve.
Right. Makes you wonder what the future of music even looks like.
Ooh.
You know?
Definitely a possibility.
Yeah.
And if that happens, the music industry will have to adapt. I mean, we might need new award categories, new ways of defining authorship and ownership, maybe even entirely new business models.
Right.
The implications are huge.
This whole deep dive into the Océanne Chamberland franchise has been a wild ride. I mean,
Yeah, it really has.
I started out thinking this would be purely about the technology,
Right.
but it's so much more than that.
It really forces us to confront some uncomfortable questions about art and technology and how they intersect.
Yeah.
What does it even mean to be a human artist in a world where AI can create something as emotionally resonant as Océanne Chamberland's music?
Right. It challenges our assumptions about creativity itself. Is human expression truly unique?
Right.
Or can AI replicate it perfectly?
Yeah.
I mean, philosophers and artists have been debating this for centuries.
Yeah, for sure.
But now it's not just a theoretical discussion.
No.
It's happening right in front of us.
And the pace of change is only accelerating. This feeling of being on the cusp of a new artistic era.
Yeah.
It's both exciting and a little bit unsettling.
Yeah.
We're all trying to figure out what the rules are, how to navigate this new landscape.
It's like we're all collectively holding our breath, waiting to see what happens next.
Totally.
So what do you think is Océanne Chamberland? A true artist or just a product of clever algorithms?
It feels almost impossible to say for sure.
Yeah.
It depends on your definition of art,
Right.
what you value in creative expression. But the fact that we're even having this conversation is a testament to the power of what Cote has created with this project,
Right.
It's forcing us to reconsider our assumptions, engage with art in new ways, and really think about the nature of creativity itself.
It's definitely a challenge to our intellect and our emotions.
For sure.
And maybe that's what great art is supposed to do,
Absolutely.
regardless of where it comes from.
It pushes us to think differently, to feel more deeply, to question the world around us.
Yeah.
That's what makes art so powerful.
Right.
And in a way, it doesn't really matter if the artist is human or machine, as long as the art itself sparks that connection, that sense of wonder and exploration.
Well, listeners, we hope this deep dive into the world of AI music and the Océanne Chamberland franchise has given you a lot to think about.
A fascinating glimpse into the future of creativity.
It is.
A future where the line between human and machine becomes increasingly blurred.
We encourage you to seek out Océanne Chamberland's music, listen for yourselves, and form your own opinions.
Yeah, it's worth checking out.
This is a conversation that's just beginning, and we all have a role to play in shaping the future of art in the age of AI. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and until next time, keep exploring.